I think every single hunter has that bucket list hunt or those adventures that they hear people going on that they would love to have the opportunity to take part in someday. And when Howard and Nick from Real Avid approached me with an opportunity to go to Alaska to help them produce a short film that they were working on, for me it was a no-brainer. We were going to follow a guy they called Krusty, his wife, one of his best friends, on an 1,800-mile road trip across Alaska to take an airboat ride into the middle of nowhere to tent camp and chase bear and ground caribou. It was an adventure and a story that I wanted to help tell, and it was an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. This moment is a reflection of where you've been, where you are, and where you will be. This moment is a step into the unknown, not one that asks what or where, but who. This moment is a step on hallowed ground.
The shortest flight back to Minneapolis is 17 hours and something. So I booked the flight that gets in at 5:40 in the morning.
This was a different type of a trip for me. Even though I had a tag in my pocket, it wasn't about the hunt as much as it was about my responsibility behind the camera and eventually in the editing room, trying to capture and effectively tell Krusty's story.
Being able to transport everyone and everything that you're going to have for the next period of time up the river by airboat, and you're all of a sudden kind of disconnected.
Trying to be intentional with the opportunities that we have in the moment and capturing the things that happen as they happen.
One time or another, about dropping everything, moving to Alaska, and living off the land.
So unlike all us dreamers, you know, Krusty did it.
There was a lot to this trip. There's a lot that needed to be accomplished, and what all started with a pre-production meeting eventually turned into us, bags packed, headed north to Alaska.
I want people's drooling at the thought of the experience, of the adventure.
Yep.
Art. This is Dave.
Dave.
Joe.
Nice to meet you. Krusty.
We gotta
nice
get some
to
food
meet
on
you.
you.
Yeah.
I told him at our hunting camps you gain weight. Yeah, you don't lose weight.
When we landed in Anchorage, we didn't have much time to mess around. We were scheduled to leave the next day on a road trip, so we had to set right up, get Krusty's interviews knocked out, and more importantly, head to the shooting range to make sure his gun was all dialed in.
I'm from a logging town, lumber town. I knew that there really wasn't any future for me in that. That's not what I wanted to do. I remember, clear back in grade school actually, a friend of mine, him and I would sit around for hours and plan how many traps we would need to move to Alaska and live in the bush and trap for a living and gold pans and all that stuff. We used to fantasize like that constantly. A buddy of mine was living up here, and he said, oh, there's a lot of construction work in Alaska. And I said, okay, I'll call you from the airport. About 3 weeks later, I called him from the Anchorage airport. I said, come pick me up. Seriously? You're at the airport? And that's basically how I got her.
After spending just a few hours with Krusty and hearing some of his stories, I mean, you knew instantly that this guy was the real deal. This was a guy who had dropped everything, moved to Alaska to chase his dreams and to chase adventures.
A lot of people have a hard time understanding the loving wildlife, but on the other hand, killing it. And unless you're a hunter, that's something that you really probably can't understand. I don't know how to put that into words. I love wildlife, and I'll be the first one to save a baby duck that's walking out in the middle of the road. But I'll be the first one to pull a trigger on it 6 months later when it's flying. I love wildlife, next to the potatoes and gravy. I mean, how else do I put that?
No doubt about it, this was going to be a trip to remember. Hallowed Ground Outdoors is brought to you by Quality Archery Designs. You take care of the shot, we'll take care of the rest. Halo Extanium Rangefinders. Never compromise, never miss. Tinks, America's #1 leading buck lure. Diamond Buck Blinds, a cut above the rest. Muddy Outdoors. Out here, our reputation is what defines us. Sportsman's Guide. For everything to outfit your passion at lowest prices guaranteed. Quiet Cat. The electric hunting machine that's built like a bull and hunts like a cat. Fog Zero. Keep your optics clean and fog free for a clear shot every time. Extreme Hunting Solutions Stick and Lick Screw and Deer Attractant. Outlast the competition. Lockdown Vault Accessories. Get organized, save time, get the most out of your vault. This segment of Hallowed Ground Outdoors is brought to you by Tacticam, the best first-person hunting camera on the market. Made for hunters, by hunters. Tacticam, share your hunt.
Normally come down here and get my brain going in the morning. Oh, these are boat screws.
Walking into Krusty's shop and packing up the boat, I mean, firsthand got to see what all went into making this trip possible, and it was something else.
There's a lot of places closer that I could hunt caribou. The months and months of preparation is a lot of it. I actually look forward to that. I cuss it when I'm doing it, but the time spent working on the boat, the trailer, the truck, packing gear. In reality, the minute we come back from this hunt, the preparations start for a year from now.
This wasn't like back home where you drive 20 minutes and no matter where you hunt, you're within a mile or two of your car. We're talking 1,800 miles on what I would describe at best as a poorly maintained gravel road. I mean, this is the Dalton Highway. You're out of cell phone reception. This is ice road trucker style from Anchorage all the way to the northernmost tip of Alaska. The trip alone was going to be an adventure, and being unprepared was just not an option.
We're ready for a tradition.
All right. What's the tradition?
You'll see.
North to Alaska, I go north to Russia's on.
25-hour road trip packed like sardines into a Chevy extended cab pickup truck. We were going to get to know each other pretty darn well. Over the course of 2 days, we got to laugh, we got to hear stories about Krusty's whole entire life, see some places that I've only read about in books, and really see some of the most beautiful imagery that I think God has ever created.
Just reached officially the highest spot, I believe, in the Alaska road system. This is the top of Vatican Pass. From this point on, all rivers flow north. This is it. The north slope is that way.
We finally rolled into camp. It was pretty late, but it's getting dark at like 11 o'clock at night this time of the year. And it was just enough time to get things unpacked, get tents set up, go through the boat, and make sure that we had all our gear in line, ready for departing for camp the next morning.
Tomorrow we hunt, and even though I'm last on the totem pole and everyone gets to hunt before me, I'm optimistic that we're gonna kill, so we're just gonna shoot the bow a little bit, make sure it's on after the airplane trip, and get a good night's sleep before we get after it tomorrow.
For me, bow hunting for caribou is a bucket list hunt, and just to be in a position to possibly have that opportunity had me completely pumped. And just sitting there bombing shots, I couldn't help but picture how awesome it would be to be able to pull back and have an opportunity to harvest a caribou.
This segment is brought to you by Real Avid hunting knives. Our knives aren't for every hunter, just the successful ones. This segment of Hallowed Ground Outdoors is brought to you by the new Prodigy from Bowtech, offering maximum speed and power to ultimate shooting comfort with the simple adjustment of the power disc. Any shooter, every season. Power Shift Technology by Bowtech.
I don't know, maybe by some people's definition, I'm an adrenaline junkie. The adventure of just seeing new places, I hear it a lot that you guys are crazy. It's just part of life to us. We don't think twice about it. Barren ground caribou, I think that represents the spirit and the wildness of the North to me. That's what made me move here.
After being in a car for that long and finally being to the point where we were traveling to hunting camp was a great feeling.
People just really can't fathom how big Alaska is. So remote. When you get dropped off in the middle of nowhere, especially if you're on a drop off on foot, it's kind of a humbling feeling. You're not likely going to walk out of there. That pilot is the only one probably on the planet that knows where you are. Everything that you need to survive is in your backpack and in your head.
The traveling portion took up so much time that we didn't have a lot of time to hunt. So it was get to camp, get set up, and get to hunt.
I love this country and I love being up here, and to me that's what hunting's all about. And you don't make mistakes in this country. You make a mistake in this country and you're not going home.
You know, the name of the game was pretty much get to a high vantage point. Glass some more, and then when you got tired, head back to camp, eat a little food, get some sleep, and repeat. If we shot a caribou or not, no one was going hungry on this trip.
All right, we're getting ready to cook some fresh Arctic grayling here at Caribou Camp. And we'll add a little butter inside here. A few fresh wild blueberries that we picked up on the tundra. Wrap it up and let it cook.
No, want me to stick some in my beard?
Get it caught in your beard.
I think we were in camp for probably about 2 days, and the weather just started to get downright miserable. Even when it would clear up, I mean, the weather patterns changed so quickly that we were pretty much stuck traveling within eye distance of camp, because you didn't know if you got out too far, all of a sudden fog settled in, you didn't know how long it'd be until you could see to get back. So we basically were hunkered down in camp just trying to wait out the weather, and every chance we got to get up on a hill, to glass a little bit, look for some caribou, and knock out our production elements for the film, we were trying to make the most of those opportunities. Regardless of the weather, regardless of what we were and weren't seeing, just to be able to be in Alaska, to sit in a tent and listen to Krusty and Dave tell stories, which they could tell some stories, it was just an incredible experience. Still, you weren't going to hear any complaining from anybody if the weather lifted and caribou started to move.
This segment of Hallowed Ground Outdoors is brought to you by Sawyer's odorless clothing and gear treatment repels and kills over 55 different bugs. Treat your clothes once and hunt the rest of the season. Sawyer, no ticks, no mosquitoes, simply better. This segment is brought to you by Hoyman Tree Saws. Fully extendable, premium tree saws.
We're burning daylight right now. It's been foggy all morning, so finally breaking a little bit in the distance. We're going to go up on this hill and glass a little bit, and we're not going to glass. We're going to let Krusty and these guys glass, and we're going to lay down a bunch of footage for the Real Avid film. But so hopefully it clears up a little bit more, because we're running out of time. The purpose of this trip was to tell Krusty's story, and the effectiveness of that story wasn't contingent on killing a caribou. You know, last day before we have to leave, we're sitting up right above camp glassing, and just like it happens so many times, the Lord provided just what we needed.
They see us. They know we're here. They know we're here. Back me. You got it. All right, 275 yards, Tommy. Oh, hang on, he took off again. Okay, he's standing sideways. 300. Okay, 301 right there. All right, he's going down. You got her. Sounded like it. Yeah, you got her. You hunched up big time. Yeah. Hang on, she's gonna lay down. There she goes.
There she goes.
There she goes. You got her, buddy.
Oh man, I think just
Down goes evil. Yeah. Grandpa power. Krusty power. Campmate. Every detail of your life growing up and leading to this point shapes how you are at this point. If the house was to burn down tomorrow and all the taxidermy burned up, I would still have the memories. If the computer crashed and melted and I lost all those electronic images and pictures, I still have the memories. The memories you can't take away from me. Great memories with great people and great friends. That's what I collect. I don't have a lot of regrets. I don't know that there's a whole lot I would do different. This is the life I live. I apologize to no one. I am who I am, and I'm gonna continue to be who I am.
To listen to their stories, to be able to capture footage that's going to make a killer film, on who Krusty is. And just to see people who are truly pursuing their passion was incredibly refreshing. Matthew 6 talks about not storing up treasures here on earth, but storing up treasures in heaven. You know, it's not about mounts on a wall. All of those trophies are temporary, and they're gonna deteriorate, they're gonna fade away, and the only thing that we're gonna be left with is what we've invested in eternally. There is nothing wrong with trophies on the wall, but the ultimate goal is to know God, to get to know Him more. And there is no trophy on anyone's wall that can surpass that.
To an old oak tree and an old deer stand. It's a place where I've seen my Maker's face. Where I'm looking at sunrise by His amazing grace. Peace and a purpose I have found. In this sanctuary of mine. I am standing on this hallowed ground, where I was born, and it's where to lay me down. If anybody asks where I can be found.
It's cold and it's windy and snowing and port company and everything is against us right now.
Hey, I love you too.
You got my back.
Yeah, all the way.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Evolved Harvest. Evolved Harvest complete line of premium forage seed. Evolved Harvest. Grow more groceries per acre.